Here it is, the collection event you don't want to be part of. High ping and red symbols. But I've done some research and I can help you avoid some of these red symbols, tell you which red symbols you just can't do anything about, and then which ones you're gonna have to do some deep dive research on, and I actually made a separate video for that. Now with any of these errors, there's a general principle that I want to keep you in mind. The ultimate goal is that one button will have one signal and one path to travel. Now what the heck does that mean is your inputs should go to your PC and go to your internet provider and then go to the servers and back. Now anytime you add extra stuff in there, that's where some of these issues can happen. Now starting with the ones you can just straight up ignore. The first one is the issue marker. Issue marker is just Apex devs being able to tag an area where something weird happened, and maybe they don't understand exactly what it is, but it gives them some way to track it. The next one is prediction error. Now the game actually tries to predict people's movements and what's going to happen next. That way it can account for some of the lag and difference in timing that it has with the 60 plus people it's talking to at a time. Obviously this doesn't always work out the way it should, and this is just another way of the devs to tag that, hey, something screwed up, let's see if we can improve this process. So the following symbols require a little bit more work on your part, so if you're not interested in like digging into your computer or doing like, you know, graphs and charts and stuff like that, then you can probably skip the starvation, limits, latency, packet loss, and lag compensation errors. But if you're having trouble with other games as well, not just Apex, this might be a good section to listen to. The quick version is starvation means that your hardware isn't up to snuff and you should upgrade something on your PC or your Xbox or whatever you're playing on. Limits means that your internet limits are at its peak and it literally cannot transfer more data. The other three, latency, packet loss, and lag comp error, those are all about the data transfer and the speeds it's happening. That one's a little bit harder to get into, but all of those issues can be better diagnosed with that other video I talked about, the optimizing the PC side. The UCMD delay is input lag. Now this spans a little bit broader than most definitions, where it is everything from your keyboard and controllers taking too long to show up on screen. That includes when it has to be processed through the system. So if you have a strike pack, or if your keyboard is going through macros or something like that, and it also has to control RGB and go through a central hub before it shows up on whatever your display device is, those kind of complicated systems is where these lags can come in. So you want to try and limit those as much as possible. That should have cleaned up that UCMD delay or input delay error. Now, moving on to the data error, this is something to do with your program files itself. I think this is probably very likely if you transfer data from one hard drive to the other, or updated, your storage system on PlayStation or Xbox. And there's always the possibility that when you created a new program or interfaced a new program, for example, I use Overwolf just to see like who I'm facing and what my lobbies are, that reads the data, and I don't believe it has any access to modify them, but if it does, you got to be careful about which permissions you're giving it. Now, especially for you guys that are like modding data or trying to experiment with some stuff, that's especially prone to generate this error. The way to fix it, simply uninstall your Apex and reinstall it. There are some ways you can check for corrupted data on your hard drive, but that's not for this video. Now I saved the easiest one for last, and that's congestion. So congestion simply is there's a ton of traffic on the server. The easiest way to do this, move servers, right? So go back to your start menu, check your server and move it. Even if it's a higher ping, at least you're able to play compared to, getting glitched out when you're in the middle of a fight. Now, if that doesn't solve it, I got to tell you to move it to the ignore session because it is on the server side. It's not so much you. And so you need to move on with your gameplay. Now, if any of these pop up on you mid-game, you should be able to know or have some idea about what's causing it, whether it's your internet or your equipment or the servers. From there, you can just slow down your game a little bit, especially if it's your internet or equipment, and that should give it just a little bit of time to breathe, let it process through whatever it's trying to do, and then you can get back to the game. Now, that's not going to be a long-term solution, but at least to get you through the match, that should help you out. This doesn't provide all the solutions, and I hope that at least now you have some wording or some idea about what you can Google or YouTube from here to improve your gaming even further. Don't forget to check out my other video if that is what you're looking to do, and I'll see you in the games. Good luck, have fun, go win a few.